I'm Rob Rowe, I'm from Unita. They let me in sometimes these days as Matt took over. I'll start by saying we're not expensive. That's what Steve has heard.
I hear different.
Further validated by my good friend Tim over here that's used us many times and said that we're very affordable. My P&L this year would suggest that as well. Anyway, welcome. Thanks for coming. It's clear to me that everyone here knows someone else. True couple of degrees of separation in Queensland that there is. We've been going around the country the last couple of months, really starting to work on how we connect better with our business in every single state of Australia. So we have offices at Unita in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and a satellite in Adelaide. And the last 5 or 6 years, we've been working on that infrastructure, working on those teams. And we've been too busy being busy that we haven't had time to get out and spend time with people like you. So it's a real pleasure to have you here, particularly in a place like this, which means a lot to us. Andrew McConnell from Supernormal, from Trader House Group. He's a fantastic guy. I hope you guys have enjoyed the food tonight so far. It's places like this that really encourage us to continue to keep going. 22 years in business now. I handed the reins over to Matt Lane, CEO of Unita, about 12 months ago. He's been fighting to get them off me, and I've finally started really letting go properly, haven't I, Matt? Done a great job, thank you. So we've been getting around the countryside, having conversations, getting people together. A big thing about Unita is about bringing people together. For us, it's all about getting 1 + 1 = 3, right? So Tim meets Susie, Susie meets Tim, they have a baby. Not really, but they find a new site. They do a deal, and the world goes around. And if we can help you meet someone that matters to you, makes an impact for you, that's what it's about for us, right? So united in Latin means, Unita means united in Latin. And so bringing you together tonight that's what it's all about. So hopefully this panel has a good time. Thank you for everything. And I wasn't prepared.
Oh, that's me. Oh, it doesn't matter. Thank you, Rob. And thanks everyone for coming out tonight. And I hope you're enjoying the food and drinks. So we're going to run a quick sort of 20-minute panel discussion, and then we'll make sure we let you get back to your networking, because that's a big part of why we're here. And joining me on the panel tonight, we have some well-known faces and names from the hospitality industry. We've got Steve Maio, who's the General Manager of Gennari Group. He's been going for 16 years. They've got 6 venues, best known obviously at the Gold Coast, and some of the sort of most loved venues that we've no doubt all dined at some point. Maggie Chew, Koi, Broadbeach, and the Roosevelt Lounge, just to name a couple. We also have Arielle Ralph, the founder of Arielle Ralph Interior Architecture, a Brisbane-based boutique design studio specialising in hospitality, lifestyle, and high-end resi. And fun fact, also a podcast host on the A Date with Design podcast. So if you've got a bit of a drive back, if you're from the coast, that was my next surprise.
Sorry.
If you've got to drive back to the coast, you can pop that on for the ride home. And yes, Jill Chilton, Associate Interior Designer at Space Cubed Design Studio. Jill's been sneaking in a couple of site visits while she's up here at the previous Fox Hotel, now the Hotel Terminus,
yes.
Which looks pretty exciting from what I saw in the paper. Worked across a lot of hospitality, certainly lots of venues I know, wellness as well. We're working on a project with Jill and the team down in Melbourne at the moment, resi, commercial and health sectors in Australia and the UK. And the other co-host of A Date with Design. So a couple of questions that we had to catch up and thought might be interesting to people in the room. And you probably can't go anywhere these days without having a little chat about AI, because it seems to be a pretty dominant topic. So Arielle, you've got your finger on the pulse in terms of sort of design trends and what's happening in AI. How do you think that, or how would you say that AI is sort of changing your industry as a designer?
I think it's a really topical piece of conversation, and we actually went down to Melbourne and spoke with a lady called Rhiannon Lee, she's also an interior designer who's really delving right into how AI is shaping the industry and how it's going to affect it in the future. And I think what our takeaway from that conversation is you've got to embrace it as a tool, and AI should be about making more time for creativity, not replacing creativity. So I think if you can look at it from that perspective, because I think where great hospitality design comes from is from that initial magic in making the concept, creating a strong identity, and I'm not prepared to hand that over to AI, I don't know about you. But I think if you can look at it as, okay, really it's not going anywhere, it's definitely here, how can we use it to make our work as a designer more efficient? So using it for tasks that would rather pull us away from being creative. So I think using it to take notes, looking at researching, using AI for more of those tasks that as a designer you don't really want to do, but also using it to polish your design. So I think, there's different programs like Nano Banana and things like that where you can still, as a designer, model your models and concepts in 3D, put it into Lumion or Enscape, and then bring it into a program with the AI, the speed that it works at now compared to, it would just take weeks or sometimes to really get these renders. You can kind of use it, I guess, in that way. So I think that's where to see it not as a hindrance, but as something, as a design tool to embrace.
Yeah, so potentially for some of the non-design people in the room, I guess the opportunity is that helps them visualise, people who aren't good at looking at 2Ds and black and white lines on a page, maybe a quicker way to help visualise a concept to make faster decisions. Is that, Jill, same question sort of for you, I guess, what are your thoughts? Do you think it replaces the creative process or could it be used to benefit?
Yeah, I think for every designer, the creative process is a deeply personal thing. It's shaped over years of experiences through their observations of the world. Great ideas don't always come on command. It takes the actual of doing the work. So doing the sketching, doing the research, testing of ideas, and like Arielle said, I think that's where AI is valuable, is as a tool to support the creative process. I think there's a great trust that is developed between a client and a designer during the creative process. And I think, when AI can generate 10 different options in a space of 10 minutes, with this endless choice, there is a bit of decision fatigue that can happen. And there is a bit of a risk that the original essence of a design can become a bit diluted. And I think that's where that trusting relationship comes in, because it's our role as designers to help guide the clients to make a confident decision and towards the best design outcome for their projects. I think we would be doing ourselves a disservice as designers if we handed over our entire creative thinking process to AI, because the creative mind is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you'll lose it, essentially. Yeah.
Thanks, Jill. And sounds like maybe don't give Steve 10 design options, or it could be tricky, but Steve...
That's what's happening, right? Like if you're not disciplined or dedicated to the original plan, you could go around in circles, endlessly trying to, let's do this, let's change that, that's bigger, that's smaller, and the results so quick that you might not get any work done in the process. So AI can assist, but it's going to be quite scary not to be disciplined in the process.
Very good point. And I mean, not specifically on design, but as an operator, what are you seeing in the hospo sector that could be a benefit, that the sort of speed
how much time
from design, but
how
also
much time do we
AI?
have?
20 minutes. Lock the doors.
It could take forever. AI, it's still new, right? So we're still trying to get a grasp of how we can use this as an operator. We'll talk about restaurants, because that's what we do. At an entry level, yes, it can help you with spreadsheets. Can you forecast what lease will be in 10 years? Put in CPI, help me do this, help me do the admin. And for maybe a single site operator, I don't know, like a mum and pop shop, little Chinese takeaway, they don't have the skills necessarily to know what a spreadsheet, Excel, admin, back of house. So they've got a leg up already, because they probably don't know these things, and you don't have to learn them anymore because AI can do it. So I don't have to learn how to breathe, I just breathe. There'll be a future where no one knows how to do a spreadsheet because AI's done the spreadsheet. At a larger scale level, as an example, we've done a recent little task where we've got a wine list in one of our venues that's like 120 bottles. I had an idea that I wanted to organise this list in vineyard pedigree compared to minerality and all these little sort of bespoke nuances in the wine list, and it will take me months to research every wine, the vineyard, what's the acid level, what's the dosage. We downloaded this, we gave it the prompts, we took our time with the information, and it spat out a beautiful wine list that, as a little task, we've uploaded that, we've given that to the Wine Awards this year, just to see how that translates in the real world. So that's a little test for AI on a menu development scale. The next level would be, I don't know, guys, we know of an operator that is big with AI, and actually he's a programmer. He's got 65 cameras in his venue, and he can hook that up to his POS, and in turn hooks that up to his staff meal list. In turn is connected to his CCTV, and now he gets messages on his phone when the chef uses the wrong plate for a staff meal. That's at a micro level. So the future will be Dr. Jim's in the venue, I'll get a text, Dr. Jim's here, where are you? He's at Koi. Do you want to get him an Asahi? It's his favourite drink. So there'll be an evolution of where AI can benefit at a guest level, but it all takes time. It is input versus output. So the more time we've got to deal with information into the system, definitely the guest experience outside of admin will benefit the venues. So, and it's only at its infancy. When we talk about AGI and a bit more general knowledge stuff, it might compete with the human brain, but for the minute, we can elevate the guest experience, we can improve our businesses, we can be more efficient with our admin, and on top of that, we can also make our businesses secure with AI and CCTV and back of house stuff. So I could go on forever, I guess, but that's the basics of what AI is doing now. And I guess the best thing is an old dog can learn new tricks now. I think actually the older operator or the more mature operator with more information will task AI better than maybe the newer generation doesn't really know how to operate a business yet. I can give it a million prompts that I want to do, but I don't have the time, and execute these great ideas. Whereas a new operator might not know structure a wine list, get the admin done, what's my lease doing, what are we doing before this? But an old dog really can lose new tricks now, so I encourage the mature people in the room to really get a handle of it, because it's going to put you into the stratosphere, because you don't have time for these things. AGI does. It's working at 2 a.m. So, yeah, really get a hold of it. Yeah,
and
leverage.
I think to your point, it's just similar for us, right, in our business, where we can minimise admin tasks, where valuable face time, guest experience, client experience is being taken
with
away.
Our guests, we can be with our teams, we can be training.
Versus down the back in the
100%,
hutch trying to punch out next
and I've only just dipped my toe in it. It's a whole pool of information available for this.
Thanks, Steve. Let's change it up. Let's talk Olympics 2032, the global economy, but with a specifically Queensland flavour. Jill, you already sort of, when we caught up, we had a quick chat. You were talking a little bit around changes about procurement and sort of speccing certain elements into a design and things. And you want to share with us sort of how that's potentially changing your approach to things at the moment?
Yeah, I think everyone in this room can probably agree that hospitality projects have some of the fastest timelines in the construction industry. And with the 2032 Olympics coming up, we're probably going to see a few more challenges with procurement, timelines, labour shortages, that sort of thing. So I think we've already started to get a little bit more creative with our traditional design process, how we work things. So for us, firstly, it starts with identifying the key design elements within a project as early on as possible. So we need to understand what are the major finishes, furniture, lighting that are going to have the biggest impact on the design and also the biggest impact on the project timeline. And so then once they're identified, we're actually then bringing the procurement conversations into our client meetings a lot earlier. So for instance, traditionally in our design process, we probably wouldn't be ordering loose furniture until the tender process or early construction process. But now in our really sort of fast-paced hospitality projects, we're actually placing orders for loose furniture shortly after concept design phase has actually been approved. And the same thing with specialty finishes like imported stones, feature tiles, Having a trusted builder on board in a project as early on as possible, we're seeing that as really valuable. That allows us to actually have calculated metre squared takeoffs for these key finishes, which then allows our clients to actually place orders for these key finishes even before a builder has actually been officially appointed. Having a builder involved early on through the design process as well, it's so valuable to have preliminary pricing done during the design process. I think that gives everyone a little bit more confidence in the budget, and it also reduces the risk of having to value manage the design further down the track, which leads to less redesign, less re-specifying, less redocumentation, and ultimately, that results in a smoother journey for the client. I think having open lines of communication with suppliers is so important. We often get calls from suppliers just wanting to touch base with us to find out what future specifications might be coming up so they can do their forecasting. They might, just make us aware of any shortages that they might have. So we have that knowledge when we're actually designing these projects as well. So we're keeping that in the back of our mind. But I think, in the lead up to the Olympics, it's actually, whenever we can, we always love specifying Australian-made and local products in our designs. And I think if they usually have shorter lead times, but you're also supporting local designers and manufacturers. I think if we can all take the approach that a rising tide lifts all boats in the lead up to the Olympics, I think it's the perfect opportunity to help strengthen the local Queensland construction and design industry. Yeah.
Thanks, Jill. And picking the tiles and furniture early might solve that problem of Steve
I've done it.
getting design fatigue. It's already locked in.
It's done.
I did it day 2.
Arielle, pulling on that same thread a little bit, is there any sort of design trends that you're seeing or that you think might emerge, I guess driven by constraints, labour, costs increasing, the demand still there, but is that sort of driving people to make more deliberate decisions around venue design and things you're working on?
Yeah, I think probably more so looking at timeless design rather than trends. I think if you can sort of think even past the Olympics, what makes a hospitality venue stand the test of time? And there's so many great examples. For instance, here in Brisbane, you've got the Regatta. It's been here for over 100 years. It's been quite true to its form, but reimagined, and it's so busy. I just drove past it the other day and it's still a really beautiful spot, but also these new venues that are coming in. And I think creating a strong identity is at the core of what really will make something stand true. And I think, you can take inspiration from European hospitality projects where they've been around for so long. It's just that authenticity. So I think, like looking at the form, the operations side of things, and also that's more function, but like the form and also making it a beautiful space that's unique and authentic. But then using quality materials, like Jill was saying, I think backing it up, sort of really investing in those tactile materials. You're seeing that more, especially in subtropical Queensland, the new sort of hospitality spots that are sort of really starting to open up. It's really embracing that the subtropical environment, and that's, I think, what sets us apart. So being true to the location as well, not trying to be something. I think you've got to push the boundaries. We don't want to be like Melbourne or Sydney. We need to try and be Queensland, but what does that look like and how is that going to stick around after the Olympics?
And potentially a bit of a different approach to fast fit outs, try and do them cheap. Maybe it's hot for a year or two and then look at sort of, flipping something that's probably a bit of a false economy in today's market, and investing for the longer sort of term and journey is where it's at. And I think, we'll throw to Steve, but I guess, it's, amortising the cost of some of these things and leases, is probably the profile's changing a bit. Do you think that there's sort of certain decisions that operators should be making now to make sure that they're kind of setting themselves up for 2032 and beyond?
Yeah, for sure. I guess for me, my opinion's sort of reserved at the minute because we're sort of so far out. And using Sydney as an example, I think that ship sailed. It was a complete different world back then. I think Brisbane, Queensland Olympics with user-generated content and social media and the right influencers and the right money thrown towards marketing really is going to put the tourist sector again into that stratosphere, because it's going to be available to so many more people. You know, Sydney 2000, it was pre-internet really, pre-social media. So people are going to be telling a lot of foreigners about how wonderful it is, and hopefully the government and people in charge of these games have got some resolve and go, okay, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to push the agenda, and hopefully they've got the plan for that. A double-edged sword again. I worry about people that are going to be investing and signing leases abruptly because they think Brisbane's going to be this mecca for 3.5 weeks of sports. I do see a value in post-Olympics where Brisbane's still a really beautiful city compared, and so is the Gold Coast, like compared to the rest of the world. Not to get too political, but it's gone to shit a bit, right? Like violence and crime and policies and immigrations and all these things. Like we're still pretty semi-protected here, so it's really, really, I think, appealing to a tourist. So when they see this on TV, hopefully 2032, or the build-up, and we get the infrastructure right, and we get the transport right, and we can grow at the right pace, and people can get around, and we've got these beautiful restaurants, and we've got all these great people, and we keep the crime where it is, and we keep the city clean. I think there's going to be like a good run post-Olympics of tourism. So for me, it's not the lead up to 2032. For me, it's post-2032 is where we should be, I think, putting our energies. Because again, to go sign a 10-year lease for 3 weeks of hurdles, I don't think is wise. Hopefully the landlords, if there's any landlords in here, sort of don't screw us over and go, you know, Olympics are coming, this is the new rate, right?
15-year leases for Steve.
Yeah, you know, so 20 minimum if anyone's interested in talking to us. But yeah, I just worry that we don't want to sort of shackle people in the wrong pretense about what's going to happen in the build-up. But certainly, Australia's so available, and it's good for a wider range as well. Maybe even Aussies will see how beautiful Brisbane and Gold Coast is. I haven't seen anyone from Western Australia in 15 years. Like, hopefully they come over and hang out for a bit, right? What are they doing? Like, have they got planes in Perth? So maybe at a more micro level, we get to see more Australians travel around, which would be pretty cool. And then at a macro level, post-2032, the rest of the world can come and go, oh my God, look how clean and beautiful this place is. They're ready for us. And then maybe we can capitalise at the tail end.
Opportunity to put us on the main stage.
I think so, and all
right?
after the infrastructure's been done and all the athletes have gone home, I think that'll be maybe their time to shine. I'm not sure yet.
Thanks, Steve. To quickly finish off, we're going to do a lightning round. One brief sentence, what you're most excited about for the future of hospitality in Queensland. Jill.
One sentence?
One sentence.
Oh, okay. I'm excited about the movement that is happening right now where hospitality and wellness sectors are actually combining. Is that more than one sentence?
Comma.
Yeah, you know, hotels are taking their wellness spaces so seriously now, which I think is amazing. We specialise in both sectors, so to see them both come together is great. Even, you know, cafes are to build community around their hospitality experience. They're starting run clubs and things like that. So there's this real sort of merging of hospitality and wellness, which I'm loving.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think I'm really excited to see local designers and what everyone's going to be doing in Brisbane, you know, with the Olympics and everything like that, pushing the boundaries. And I think, you know, we're really seeing a movement to creating an environment in a hospitality project where it's not just performing one function, you know, you're actually changing from day to night. So it's like by day a beautiful restaurant goes into a long lunch, late dinner, then turns into a nightclub, the disco ball drops, stuff like that, you know. Let's push it and have a bit of fun.
That's great. That's cool. I'll go one here. I guess I'm excited for Unita to give us a discount on our first bill. Is that what's happening? No. Okay, no.
You're going to give Rob a few more beers.
Yeah, for us in the food and beverage industry, I guess, I'm a romantic at heart. Like, even though we've got to think about numbers and admin and contracts and deals and whatever, like the guest experience, I think Brisbane and the Gold Coast particularly, we are on this curve of of improving guest experience, more food, better players. Like there's so many cool people in Brisbane, some really cool stuff. So the evolution of just the entire sector for me is really exciting, especially like coming, I'm an Australian born and bred, so I didn't get to see these places in Europe and Monaco and Italy and Rome. So we're in our own backyard and seeing what, in particular, the guys in Brisbane are doing. Tassis, Any Day, all these good players, and even the guys here. It's super exciting, and you guys should be really excited as well, because that means you can experience these beautiful venues and great food and create memories. So yeah, the romantic in me can't wait to create memories around food and beverage, and hopefully the romantic in me outplays the business in me, and that sort of keeps us going.
I get the feeling it will.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. We will... wait, before I forget, there is a competition tonight. You can have a $500 dinner on Rob. So you could win that, Steve. Throw that in.
Can we do a contract?
You can have a $500 dinner on us downstairs in the dining room here at Supernormal. So the details are on the posters, but you need to take a photo and share it on socials and tag one of us or all of us or some of us in there. I'm sure the info's on there. And otherwise, have a great night. Enjoy a few more drinks. If you don't know someone, go up and say hi and do a bit of good old-fashioned networking.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for the invite.